Hello guys, welcome to Cartooning with Paul. Today I'm going to show you how to draw Mushu from Disney's Mulan. So come on, let's get started. Well, cartooners, welcome back. Yeah, that's right. Today we're going to tackle Mushu from Disney's animated film Mulan. So without further ado, let's dive right on in. All right, guys. Well, as you know, I usually like to start with a circle. But when I'm coming down with drawings for Mushu, I like to start with what I think the body should be shaped like. Okay? So he's usually in an S formation when he's standing. Okay? And we want to keep the body relatively thin. And now since I have that in, now I know the size of Mushu's head. So from here, what I want to do is figure out where the legs are going to go and how they're going to be shaped and where we're going to put the arms. So right now we're going to do a gesture drawing. The legs come from here. So what I want to do is figure out this leg first. And the foot will be shaped relatively like that. Now the other leg, we're going to draw his hips like that and extend this leg out. It's actually a lot thinner than that. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay. This leg also. I don't know what my problem is. All right, so now that I have roughed in these legs, and there's his foot. If his hips are going to be angled like this, his shoulders should be angled like this. So I'm going to throw one arm like this. He has very thin wrists. And when we come out to the elbow, we've got some fur almost like, right? He's not all scales. And then the arm gets a little wider once it gets up toward the shoulder. I'm going to give him a rough of his hand right now. And now this arm, I want coming down as well. So the shoulder will go like this. We have to remember to use Chinese shapes when sketching these characters. They were going for an ancient Chinese aesthetic. A lot of the character designs were influenced by not only their folklore and their art, but also coming right out of their alphabet. The way that the Chinese write, they wanted to use a lot of those shapes in their character design. Now, I remember in high school, and going into college, we got to go into the animation studio tours, and you could watch the Florida animation unit feverishly working on this animated feature. They had the entire studio decorated with Chinese lanterns and Chinese artwork. It was gorgeous. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting the supervising animator of Mushu, Tom Bancroft, years before anybody had seen the slightest bit of artwork coming from the studio. He was very generous with his time, showed us a sketch of what Mushu was going to look like. His design wasn't finalized yet, so he looked a little differently than the Mushu that we know today, which I always find fascinating being a student of animation. he was so generous with his time. He was such a nice guy. Now, incidentally, his brother, Tony Bancroft, was a co-director with Barry Cook, and I was invited on an animation weekend in the summer of '98, where we spent the entire weekend doing animation workshops and lectures. We got to watch the film with the directors. It was such an awesome time. I got to meet some of the voice actors. I got to meet a ton of animators, and memories to last a lifetime. So far, we've just roughed it in, right? So here, I'm not loving where I'm going with this, so let's back up a little bit. Let's give him those big eyes. Those big eyes, but we're going to give him those eyelids. He's saying something funny or sarcastic. And there we go. So these are raindrop-shaped eyes, right? And then if we're going to make him smile, let's see, the snout would normally come out kind of like this. He's got this long snout. And then his cheeks will come off like this. Okay. And now that I've got that in, let's give him that smile. I'm going to cut that snout in half right about here. And let's see. Let's give him a grin. I'm going to find the halfway point up his snout right about there. And I'm going to give him that big triangular nose. Now remember I said that they used a Chinese art influence. So you'll notice those kinds of shapes in his nostrils, the overall shape of his body. Let's give him the fur for his lips. And let's give him that Eddie Murphy-like lower lip and chin. His teeth are a squiggle line like that. And we'll just give him pupils looking right at us. He has some ridges along his the top part of his snout. And let's give him the other cheek on the other side here. I'm going to darken in those lines so you can see what I'm doing. And those expressive eyebrows. From there, give him those dragon-like horns, just like this. And if you're coloring these in, we get a light blue horn with a purplish tip. And then we're going to give him cow ears. They've got a little bite taken out of it, like that. And they have black tips on the outside of the ear. Let's see. Let's do... All right. That's looking good. And you're not a Chinese dragon without that, like, whirly-twirly mustachy thing. I mean, no offense if if I'm saying that incorrectly. Shame on me. Okay. You'll notice he has ears of a cow. He's got the body of a serpent. His chest will come out to a point right there. And we'll just give him that like dragon or snake-like line there. And now let's continue that all the way down. It's a little wider here at the belly, and then it curls right underneath. So also make these a little wider. And then they'll get shorter once they get into the tail. So he has ears of a cow, right? Well, he also has the end of a tail like a cow. Just like that. Let's go back into those arms and let's make them look a little more on model. Okay. Just notice it gets thinner here. And then the forearm is very thin. Actually, drawing these, they're very similar to Timon's arms, now that I'm thinking of it. Okay. And let's give him a better hand than that. We've got 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. And they have these darker red claws at the ends. I'm not quite sure why I'm drawing his claws in attack mode, but here we are. Whoops. And now let's throw in those cool back scales that he has. And they're kind of shaped like the waves of the ocean. Just give him those 3 right there. And I don't know why, but for some reason I thought he had spots on his back. He does not. Well, guys, if you like drawing videos like this, I've got more for you right here. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button, throwing a comment down, those do tremendous things for my channel. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. And until the next video, we'll see you later.